Hello, FJ here. Welcome to part 2 of my Let's Play of Banished. Let's go ahead and load up the save game from last time. Right, so we left it paused. Let's start it up again. Now we've built the stockpile, but have yet to build the houses. They still need to put all the logs and stone on there to do that. I think they should all do that. The initial stages, they only need the builder for the last one, so I'll leave them be, but I'll just add a couple of builders. A couple of things I missed from the first part was the types of houses. As well as a wooden house, there's a stone house, which they use less firewood basically, but they cost a lot more. They use they use stone and obviously and iron to build, whereas a wooden house is just a little bit of stone and not much wood. And the other thing is a boarding house uses an awful lot of wood, as well as, I think, is it iron? Can't really tell, the icon's a little bit similar. I think it's stone. They're kind of like an emergency house for if you've had a bit of a disaster and some houses like accidentally fall down or get burned or whatever, just for people to live in temporarily. It's quite expensive to build, so it's not really, you don't really want it as a starter house. You actually give them proper houses to begin with. I'll go on more about houses and how many you should have later on probably. The other thing I didn't know about was the town hall. When you build that, it gives you access to sort of census data basically. You get some of that data here, like how many citizens you've got, but it also tells you how many are employed, you know, how many are clothed, because, you know, you might have some citizens running around naked, you know, can't have that. And gives you graphs over time up to about 100 years and shows you everything in stock, which is probably quite handy when you've got a lot of things like hold the stock. Like if you've got a number of storage barns and a market, then it doesn't tend to always show you, if you look in just one of those, everything you've got, because it might be split across a number of locations. So it's some quite handy info there, and I think it's got some job info as well, which is probably a bit of a duplication of the professions box, but still. So stockpile's built, I don't really need to keep that open anymore. And the house is starting to get built, which is good. Which is, perhaps I did need builders. Perhaps I do need builders to get the stuff delivered. No, because stuff's getting delivered, but there's both builders are actually working on that first house. That's good, because I now have a stockpile. I don't need this so much anymore, although actually I think I do, because that's where they keep the firewood, so I probably need to build a storage barn pretty quickly. And I think they I've got enough sort of wood and stone, so let's plonk that down. That's going to be a useful thing to have. You can rotate them obviously to get to go where you want, to save them chopping stuff down. We'll put it sort of reasonably clear location. Just pin that so you can see how it's getting on. Now we're down a bit on food, so before long we are going to need some food production going on. Let's just tell them to harvest a bit more stuff, just as a precaution, because we haven't got anything producing resources automatically. Now, we said we were going to put forester huts in here, but for now I think we're okay for wood if we keep you know, collecting it manually. So look at the houses. The first house is now built, and it's got quite a lot of people living in it already. We've got 9 people. Something happened there, I don't know what. but I mean, we've only got one house, so it's okay that a lot of people are living in it. They'll sort of spread out. With 9 people, that's probably, you know, 4 families and 1 person. Arlie has became an adult, and so they'll probably move into a house on their own. I don't know. If we look at the inventory of the house, there's another house now. It's got some people moved into it. We can actually close that. We don't need to see it. The inventory, they stock up on food and on firewood. This is quite important because the more you build houses, the more this is going to happen, in that they'll take firewood out of the reserve and food and put it in their house. While that means, you know, they're okay, they can just go to the house and get some food or fire, and the firewood keeps the house warm. If you build too many houses all at once, then your firewood and food reserves are going to start dwindling pretty fast. And the more houses you have each year, because they tend to sort of grab the firewood and then keep it all winter and use it up and then grab some more in the spring, the more that happens, the more houses you have, the more that's going to happen, and you'll end up with no reserves of either, and you'll be in trouble, or the bummers will anyway. So this house here has got a sort of freezing symbol on it, which kind of indicates they haven't got any firewood, which indeed they haven't yet. They're probably just going to go and get some. Oh dear, no firewood left. Now we could be in trouble. We need a woodcutter, I think. Probably. And we also need some food, so we are struggling a bit here. We need to very quickly build these 2 things, because otherwise we're going to be in big trouble. So let's get a woodcutter. Stick that down there next to the stockpile, and get a hunting cabin. We'll put that in the forest. As I said before about not being able to find things once you've placed them, that's kind of a good example, because that hunting cabin I've just plopped down, it's quite difficult to see where I've put it, so it's usually a good idea to pin it so you can see whether it's how it's getting on at being built. I think we'll probably want to put a gatherer down as well. And this is the outline kind of helps as well to show you where you see it's going red is where we've already told it to build a hunting cabin. That's kind of handy to know, so you can build them reasonably close to each other without, obviously won't let you overlap them, but then they can sort of cover the same area. So we're low on food and low on firewood, so we can use the tool which gives priority to building things that produce that, to make them do that first before they build, say, the other house, because it's just going to be bad otherwise. Not quite sure how big that was, but I'll take a guess. We'll increase the number of builders as well, because the labourers will be chopping stuff down, whereas builders will actually get on and hopefully build these things we so desperately need. So we'll leave the cart for now. That's kind of a temporary storage area for food and firewood, and hope that they get on with those things that produce that. So let's speed things up a bit to see that they get built. Storage barn's getting built anyway, so we'll add a couple more builders just to kind of make them flow over onto the hunting cabin, the wood cutter and the gatherer set, which we need more. It's built a house anyway. So it kind of completely ignored my priority there. No, it didn't, because look, the woodcutter's getting built kind of ahead of the barn. Right, we've got the storage barn, so we don't really need that open anymore. And now the woodcutter's nearly built. Keep it going quick for now. Down to normal speed. We need a woodcutter. Easy way to do it is from this professions menu, but you can also choose it from this menu here, which also lets you see how many is the maximum. So we just need one. We've only got 100 wood, so we probably want to get some more chopped down to meet the fuel limit of 200. In fact, we'll probably knock up the fuel limit at first to 300 and probably a little bit more as soon as we build any more houses. This is like how much is stored in reserve. Of course, the people need a certain amount in their houses and they'll go and grab it every year or a couple of times a year, but there needs to be enough for them to take that. These two people currently, two houses, desperately needing firewood and food. There's a person on their own in that house. So hopefully before too long we're going to get this hunting cabin and we can make some food. Well, it's going to be a pretty short game. Speed it up. Zoom in. Zoom in. We've got 6 builders of 6, so we've got the maximum that can actually be doing stuff. And because I built them in the middle of the forest, they need to remove quite a lot of things out of the way. And as I say, it's actually not the builders that always do that. Hopefully. Oh, they're putting stuff not quite on the stockpile, but whatever. Oh, we've got 2 more adults and another adult. That's good. Lost a limb. Nice name. So now we've got the logs and the stone piling up, which means the builders can hopefully get to work soon. Oh dear, somebody's died. Of starvation, well, that's not that surprising, I guess. But because we had a labourer, and this is quite an important note, because we had a labourer spare, then they were replaced. The builder was, oh dear, the child's died, oh dear, how sad. Ah, we've got lots of deaths, oh dear. And we've got no spare labourers at the moment, so I think we want to knock down the number of builders. What I was starting to say was, if you have spare labourers, then they'll replace your carefully selected job professions, whereas if you haven't got any labourers spare, well, the labourers don't... I mean, they'll do general things like cutting down the trees and collecting things when you've told them to, which while you might not... and moving resources around, and while you might not want them to... do that all of the time, it's a lot better than suddenly finding you haven't got a woodcutter or you haven't got a builder when you thought you had, because they've kind of accidentally died and left the job post open without a labourer to replace them. So these are getting built now, and we're going to need to have people working in them, and we haven't really got very many people left because they've unfortunately been dying. Look at all these deer just taunting us. Bastards. Right, okay, let's get back down to normal speed. We need hunters. We can have 2 because we've got 2 labourers, and we need probably 3, and that gives us 2 builders to spare to make the gatherer's hut. And we've maxed out the hunters. You can actually increase the maximum, but I don't know for sure, but I think this default number is probably kind of the optimal level. I could be wrong. I mean, if you want to add more, I don't know what you can add it. Well, it's only 1 more. So, I mean, we are a bit desperate for food, so maybe we should have more hunters, but hopefully we'll have a a gatherer's hut soon. Right, that's I'm not doing very much to build that gatherer's hut, but that's okay. So we'll speed it up a bit. Hopefully won't have too many deaths. Less builders and labourers. We haven't really got enough logs, so we need to have a look at that. I don't want these to be too long, so I'm going to just got it paused. I'll just end this one for now, and we'll carry on in part 3. See you next time. Goodbye.